How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us this morning. We are going to be doing some sword skills today. Just a reminder that when we do sword training here in the school, it's with dull swords. These are not sharp. So I can, do this all day and still have all my fingers attached. So if you guys don't have a sword, we can certainly modify. Maybe you guys have something like a pool noodle. This one's been taped out to look like a lightsaber. Or even something as simple as a stick would work as well. You can still work your sword cuts and blocks as if it were a sword. All right. So first things first, we're going to come to attention and we're going to bow. Okay, awesome. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using this sword. Okay, remember guys, this is not sharp. When you're training at home, we always want to be safe, so make sure that we're not using sharp swords. Also making sure that you have enough space. You're going to be swinging something around. You do not want to hurt anyone or anything that could be nearby. Okay, now let's go over some of the parts of the sword real quick. So we have this, on this particular sword, it has a black scabbard. Sometimes they come in different colors, they're decorated and all sorts of crazy stuff. But this one is just a simple black one. It has a red handle. All right, obviously that's where our hands are going to go when we hold the sword. It has a hand guard that protects your hand from sliding up and cutting yourself on your own sword. Then when we take it out of the scabbard, okay, we have a couple parts here. The thicker part, that's the spine, that goes all the way up to the point, right? Then the blade side is obviously much thinner. It's going to curve as it goes up towards that top. Now when we're gripping the sword, our right hand, all right, I'm doing it mirrored right now, so our right hand is going to be on the top, our left hand is going to be on the bottom. Now the two hands have two different jobs. The top hand has a pushing motion. We're going to push the sword forward. The bottom hand is going to pull in. So we push and pull when we cut. Again, I push and pull to make sure we're using both sides of our body. Now, when you're cutting, or when you're using really any weapon, you want to make sure you're controlling it. Okay? So I should be controlling the sword. The sword should not control me. That means when I do my cuts, I want to be able to stop the sword exactly when I want it to stop. If I do a cut and it kind of pulls me like that, that means that the sword is controlling me. That's backwards. I need to control the sword. So let's start out with our most basic cut, a straight down cut. So it's going to come up over our head and then straight down. Now when we're doing this, again, front hand is pushing, back hand is pulling. Bend your legs a little bit, and as your sword is coming down, you're going to straighten out those legs using your body power. So again, bring it up, cut down. Again, up, cut again. That's it. You guys are doing good. Keep going. Again, making sure that you're stopping your sword. So I'm stopping my sword right about here, right about where my belt is. I don't want to go too far beyond that. Keep going, guys, straight down. One more time. Awesome. Good job. Now, we're going to work on a diagonal cut. So that means it's going to go high from one side to low to the other side. Okay? So again, we're going to bring the sword up. We're going to push as we cut. Again, push and pull. That top hand is doing that pushing motion. The bottom hand is going to do the pull motion. So again, push and pull. All right. Again, push, pull when I cut. Now notice too, my belt, that's my central line. You can see that it's turning, it's twisting. So I'm twisting using my whole body when we're doing our cuts. Awesome. Let's try the other side. So now we're going to cut the other way. Ready? 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Fantastic. Okay. Up next, we're going to do our upward diagonal cuts. Now this means it's going to be low from one side and high to the other side. Again, low to high. So again, we're still gripping the sword, right? That top hand push, bottom hand pulls as we cut up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's go the other way. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice. Now we're going to do our side-to-side cuts. So you guys can imagine a table. On that table is going to be evil watermelon. All right, we're going to slice that evil watermelon right in half. Now, keep in mind, you have a focused target, that watermelon. The watermelon's not going to be this big. So my cut doesn't need to be that big. That's a little bit wild and crazy, a bit extreme. So I have a focused cut, something in front of you like the watermelon. So when I do my cut, it's here, here, right? I'm not doing this. That's too wild and crazy, all right? If I was in a sword battle, I would leave myself open for the other person to attack me. So I want to make sure that I'm protecting myself. So cut, 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 back and forth. All right, good, good, good. Now, common mistake with that one. I see this a lot with students. What they'll do is they'll then turn the sword in their hands and then bring it back. What you want to make sure that you're doing is doing your cut, flip your hands over, and then cut again. So I know one side is going to be a lot more comfortable, and this one's a little bit less comfortable. Just making sure that you're gripping the sword correctly. So 1, then I flip my hands, go the other way 2. 1, flip 2. We also want to make sure that we're not flipping too soon. Sometimes I'll see students start to flip when they're in the halfway point. The sword's going to get stuck in the watermelon. So we want to make sure we cut all the way through. When we're done our cut, then we flip the hands. Cut all the way through, then we get to flip the hands. Good, good, good. All right, guys. Next, let's work on a couple of blocking skills. So what we're going to do, for this particular type of block, it's protecting our head. It's as if someone is coming down and they're trying to bonk us on the head. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the handle of the sword. We're going to push the handle up to one side. So as I push the handle up, the blade's going to go up over my head. And I can push it up on the other side. So we have one side and the other side. Okay? Now notice that the handle is much, much higher than the tip of the sword. Okay? That's done so that when they hit my sword, they're going to slide away from me. If I have it angled this way with the tip higher, when they hit, they're coming towards me. I don't want that. I want them to go away from me. Okay? Also, you want to make sure that the handle part is not lined up right above your head. Because again, if they're aiming at your head, they might get your fingers. So I want my hands off to the side. That way that the blade is actually doing the block rather than my hands or the handle. All right, let's go again. So put it in front of you, push the handle up. Ready? 1. Good. Other side. 2. Again. 1, 2. One more time on each side. Ready? 1 and 2. Nicely done, you guys. Nicely done. Okay, let's add some cuts in with those blocks. So it's going to be a small form, total of 5 moves. All right, it's going to be cut, block, and cut again. So let's give it a try. Holding that sword out in front of you. Bring it up. We're going to cut and say tia. Then we're going to block, tua. Cut again, tia. Tua and asa. Okay, let's give it a try. Ready? Cut, tia. Blocking, tua. Cut, tia. Tua, asa. Nicely done. All right, let's do one more time with my help, and then we're going to have you guys give it a try. Ready? Bring it up. Cut down, tia. Blocking, tua. Cut, tia. Tua, asa. Okay, this time, I'm just going to say go. When I say go, I want you guys to do all 5 moves. We're going to do it together. If you get lost, just look up at me. Ready? Go. Tia. Tua. Tia. Tua. And asa. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done. All right. Let's work on a different type of block. Now, for this one, we're just going to use one hand on the sword. Okay? Sometimes maybe you might have 2 swords. You never know. So, oftentimes we're going to use the back of the sword, the spine of the sword to block. It's much thicker, it's stronger. We also don't want to dull up the sharp side if this was a sharp sword. So from here, what we're going to do is I'm going to block with the back of the sword, bring it around, and then cut. So again, I'm going to block with the back of the sword, block, cut. So notice I'm using that momentum. I'm also going to use my body power to help me out. So block, cut. We could do it with 2 hands. So if your sword is heavy, you might want to use 2 hands. 1, 2. Awesome. All right, let's try the same hand, but now blocking the other way. So I'm going to block going this way. So again, this one's a bit curved, right? So the point, the back side, that's the spine, that goes all the way to the very top. The curved part, that curves up, that's the blade side. We're going to use the back of the sword, the spine. So I'm going to go block, cut, right? Block, cut. 1, 2. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a try with our other hand. So, again, we're going to take the spine, the back of our sword, block one direction, bring it around your head, and cut. Block and cut. Good. Now let's block and cut going the other direction. So I'm blocking this way, cutting that way. So it's going to be 1, 2. 1, 2. One more time. Block and cut. Very good. All right. Now, if we are using the sword with one hand, it's a little bit harder to stop it with control. So there's one secret, one tip that we can use. I'm going to let the handle run into my forearm. So when I do this cut, if I let the handle run into it, so it's actually touching my forearm there, right? That will help to stop it exactly when I want it to stop. What tends to happen is people will let the handle go past their forearm. Then you're really just using your wrist and your grip of your hand to try and control this. If this is an actual like full steel metal sword, it's actually fairly heavy. It's going to be hard to do with just your wrist and your grip if you're not used to using that part of your body a lot. So I'm going to use the handle to run into my forearm to get it to stop exactly when I want it to stop. So again, we can do both sides. All right, that will help you make that sword stop exactly when you want it to stop. All right, guys. So let's run through and review the stuff that we covered so far today. Okay, when we grip the sword, usually we're using 2 hands. Our right hand is going to be on the top. Our left hand is going to be on the bottom. All right, the top hand has a pushing motion. It's going to push. The back hand or the bottom hand is going to pull, push and pull. So when we're doing those cuts, whether we're going this way, it doesn't really matter which way we're cutting, we're always pushing and pulling. Remember, top hand is push, bottom hand is pull. Now, when we start to get to the one-handed stuff, obviously we can't push and pull, so that makes it a little bit more challenging, okay? So that one's a little bit more advanced when you have a little bit more forearm and wrist strength. To make it a little bit easier to stop it, we can let it run into our forearm. We also like to block with the back of the sword. That way we do not dull the blade side. So we block, cut, all right? Okay, all right guys, that's all the stuff that I had for today. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Just know that on Monday, we're gonna start back with some in-person classes. So we're gonna do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings, in-person training, okay? When the in-person training is happening, we have to cap the classes at 10 people. That's a safety precaution that the state is making us do right now. Now, if you want to come in and you're not quite, with the first 10, that's fine. You can still participate through Zoom or through Facebook Live, okay? So, if you guys are students, make sure that you guys are registering through the app. All right, I sent an email yesterday with all the information how you guys can save your spot in class. That way you know that you're guaranteed to be one of those 10 people that will be here training in the school. All right, bye guys.